Summary of Canto 3, Chapter 16. The two doorkeepers of Vaikuntha, Jaya and Vijaya, cursed by the sages. After congratulating the sages for their very nice words, the Lord began to speak. Understanding the fear of the Kumaras, the Lord wanted to pacify them. So the Lord first apologized to the Kumaras. He told the Kumaras that these attendants of mine, they ignored me and they have offended you. I actually approve the punishment given by you to these two devotees of mine. To me, the Brahmana is the highest and the most beloved. Since the disrespect was shown by my attendants, I consider this as an offense by myself. So therefore, I seek forgiveness. Now one can ask, how can the Supreme Lord commit an offense? Even if the Lord does, who could punish the Lord? But however, the Lord said, a servant's mistake causes the master infamy. A wrong act committed by a servant leads people to blame his master, just like how a spot of white leprosy pollutes the entire body. But then, how can the Lord get fame or infamy from someone else? Does it mean that the Kumaras are greater than the Lord? So at this point, the Lord glorifies the Brahmanas. He tells the sages, I actually attained fame because of you. By hearing whose glories the whole world, including the Chandala, is purified, that Lord I am. But I have obtained fame as Tirtha because of you. I will not hesitate to lop off my own arm if it offends you. Because of my service to devotees like you, the dust of my feet immediately wipes out all sin. Even Lakshmi does not leave me, although I am not attached to her, and others perform vows to attain her favor. I enjoy food through the mouth of the Brahmanas. I do not relish the offerings through my mouth as the sacrificial fire with the same relish as I do the delicacies overflowing with ghee which are offered to the mouth of the Brahmanas. If I take the dust of the Brahmanas on my head, who will refuse to do the same? By taking their dust, I am the master of unobstructed internal energy, and the water that washed my feet Ganges sanctifies the three worlds, including Lord Shiva. Those who look upon the Brahmanas, cows, and defenseless creatures as different from me are like serpents with sinful visions. They will certainly go to hell, and they are torn apart by the vulture-like messengers of Yamaraj. Those who are gladdened in heart and respect the Brahmanas, even if they utter harsh words, and look upon them as my own self and pacify them as a son would appease an angry father. My servants, not knowing the mind of their master, have committed an offense. So therefore, I shall deem it a favor if you order that although reaping the fruit of their transgression, they may return to me very, very soon. At this point, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explained that the Lord was actually not happy with the Kumaras' act of cursing the doorkeepers, and the above statements of the Lord were somewhat tinged with sarcasm and deep attachment towards Jaya. Now, the Kumaras, after hearing all this, they were actually not very satisfied with the lovely Lord's illuminating speech. Though the speech of the Lord was like Vedic hymns, because they were bitten by the serpent of anger, they couldn't appreciate the Lord. Because the Kumaras had committed Vaishnava Aparad, they could not experience the sweetness of the Lord's words. Though they showed great repentance and non-removal of their anger, actually shows the difficulty in removing an offense to the devotee. So the Kumaras, they couldn't comprehend the Lord's excellent speech. Although they heard attentively and pondered on it, because of its very heavy import and profound significance, they couldn't really understand what exactly the Lord meant. So, wondering for a very long time whether the Lord favored them or condemned them, they concluded that the Lord was pleased with them, and so they were somewhat happy. The sages, however, they became delighted, and their hair standing on end, they began to speak to the Lord, and the Kumaras began to reply to Lord Narayana at this point in time. Though the Kumaras had concluded that the Lord was pleased, they again asked questions in order to hear the Lord's intentions from his own mouth. So they asked the Lord, actually they are unable to know what you intend to do for us. Even though you are the Supreme, you speak in our favor as if we had done something good for you. You respect the Brahmanas to set an example for others. You are certainly our worshipable deity. You are the worshipable deity not only for demigods but also for Brahmanas. So what is the meaning of your saying that without service to Brahmanas, your food dust has no power? You always protected the eternal dharma of bhakti by your multiple manifestations, and you are the supreme objective of dharma. And you are eternally unchangeable. By your mercy alone, all the yogis, they are able to cross signs. How can you say that you require the mercy of others? You have said that Lakshmi does not give up you because you have served the Brahmanas. that is not impossible at all. Lakshmi, whose foot dust is borne on the head of many people desiring wealth, desires for a place in the abode of the king of bees, hovering on the tulsi offered at your lotus feet. So, in conclusion, no one can be the benefactor of the Lord, rather, everyone is a servant. You are not attached to Lakshmi simply because she is your wife, rather by her service as a devotee, but attached to the activities of your pure devotees. How can you be purified by the dust on the path traversed by the Brahmanas? You protect this entire universe by your appearance in 3 yugas. So kindly destroy this Rajas and Tamas by Sattva and benefit the Brahmanas and demigods. If you do not protect the Brahmanas by offering worship and mild words, then the auspicious path of worship will be rejected by people in general, since they accept only you as their pramana. You are the ocean of Sattva Guna, and you never want the auspicious path to be destroyed. You are the Lord of the 3 worlds and the maintainer of this entire universe. Therefore, your potency is not reduced by your submissive behavior. Rather, it is your transcendental pastime. We understand that we have cursed 2 faultless persons. We accept this without duplicity. Whatever punishment or reward you want to give to us, please do so, because we have cursed these 2 people. So when the Lord heard all this, the Lord desired to reconcile the situation. And the Lord replied, the punishment on them as becoming demons was actually already ordained by me. But they will shortly return to me, as they will be absorbed in meditation on me in anger. Nothing can happen without the Lord's sanction. The Lord's plan was there behind this curse. Because the Lord is the source of everything, anger and fighting spirit also exists in him. But in Vaikuntha, the Lord has no enemies to fight with, because everyone is engaged in his service. So the Lord, he decides to have enemies to fight with, and because of that, he comes to the material world along with his devotees, and in this case it is Jaya Vijaya, who temporarily acted as his enemies to fulfill their beloved Lord's fighting desires. Furthermore, while fulfilling his desires, the Lord instructed the sadhakas through this episode to be careful not to commit offenses. So, having seen the object of bliss of their eyes, the Vaikuntha and the self-illuminating Lord of Vaikuntha, the sages circumambulated the Lord. Taking his permission, they then departed. Now, the Lord looked at Jaya Vijaya and he began to speak to them. He told them, go to the material world, but do not fear. Though I can nullify a Brahmana's curse, I do not desire to go against my own rules. This departure was already foretold by Goddess Lakshmi. She was very angry when you stopped her from entering the gate when I was sleeping. By meditating on me in anger, you will overcome the offense to the Brahmanas and you will return to me very shortly. Though you will have the mentality of demons, you will think of me constantly and you will serve me. I will experience pure happiness and Virya Rasa fighting with you when I descend in 3 different avatars. After speaking like this at the door of Vaikuntha, the Lord returned to his abode, where there are many celestial planes and all surpassing wealth and splendor. The Kumaras, we should know, did not enter Vaikuntha. Although sometimes Brahmanas and yogis go to Vaikuntha, they were not meant to stay there, so they come back. So like this, Lord Brahma began to conclude his narration. He said, Jaya Vijaya lost their luster due to Brahma Shapa, and they fell down from Vaikuntha. Because of the curse from Brahmanas, they fell down from Vaikuntha, and as they were falling, a great roar of disappointment arose from all the demigods. These 2 entered the womb of Titi through the semen of Kashyapa Muni. It is the prowess of these twin asuras that has disturbed you. There is no remedy within my power, however, it is the Lord himself who desires to do all this. So like this, Lord Brahma was telling the demigods that actually it was not completely under his power, it was the desire of the Lord. So at that time, the demigods might have asked Brahma, then will the Lord mitigate the situation? And for that, Brahma said, the Lord alone will come to our rescue. He is indeed the controller of the 3 He is responsible for creation, preservation, and dissolution of this universe. He is the most ancient person. And his Yogamaya cannot be easily understood by the masters of yoga. What is the use of deliberating on this? So surely the Lord will help, and he will take control of the situation. So like this, Lord Brahma finished speaking to the demigods about the fall down of Jaya Vijaya. So this ends the summary of chapter 16 of Canto 3, Jaya and Vijaya cursed by the sages. Hare Krishna.